Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look at KuCoin, and before we do, quick peek at Bitcoin, kind of to see what's going on there. Not a tremendous amount of movement in the last 12 hours, but Bitcoin is trending just above 58,000, which is not a terrible place at this point. Obviously, we're below a lot of moving averages on the 4-hour and the 1-day chart, but we are kind of consolidating right around 58. So we'll probably see some kind of behavior plus or minus 1,000 this weekend in that range. Come Monday, it'll be do or die, so to speak. We'll see the price either go up or go down based on how the whales feel at that time. So that's kind of what I'm guessing here. We should just see a slow, steady, very subtle increase over the weekend. It's very common. Green days on weekends for the most part. And then, of course, Monday will be Judgment Day. We'll see what happens there at that point. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look at KuCoin. Oh, and just before we do, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much again for joining me here. But just know I'm not a financial advisor, but I love teaching people how to become better traders. I've been trading for over 15 years, and I'm very passionate about helping people just become better financially. So generally speaking, you're going to experience hopefully a learning process in this in these videos, but more importantly, over the course of becoming a good trader, right? So you got to learn something new every day. Hopefully, I can help educate and facilitate that. And if you'd like a better, more, I guess you could say collaborative environment, I have a trading community, link in the description below for that. I send out signals for every single trade that I take to ensure that everyone understands kind of how to survive in this industry. That includes bull markets and bear markets, and I can assure you bear markets are even more lucrative than what we're experiencing right now. So looking forward to that. But at this point in time, let's enjoy what we got, right? Let's take a look here at Crow and obviously see what's going on here with this coin. Now, KuCoin is a pretty cool situation. Obviously, the 1-day candlestick, you can see it's just been nothing but constant growth. It was kind of stuck in between, 15 to 20 cents for a long time. It took off, hit this this increase right here where we hit this little plateau, and the price kind of ramped up with this ascending wedge pattern, and now it's been kind of to the moon, so to speak, right? So everyone's asking me, when is this going to turn around? And I'm speculating that it might happen soon, just based on the fact that we do have a potential state of exhaustion. I'll show you what I mean by that here in a moment, but to clarify, moving averages are below the price action right now. We won't need to worry about that for a little while, but those will effectively start as support levels, and we'll see what happens later. The RSI is over 70, and most people are concerned about this. I typically like to see RSI over 70 on the 1-day chart. It really just helps to reaffirm the fact that we are on the right path, but it can't last forever, right? It needs to come down, and we might be at that coming down stage soon. And what I mean by that is just if you see back here, the first increase kind of had to consolidate here right against the resistance level, and the RSI calmed down. Again, that's the relative strength. It starts to recede if you consistently hit the same price action based on the fact that people get used to the norm of what the price is at that time, right? It's a relative strength of the price, whether or not it's oversold or overbought. Right now, Crow is considered to be extremely overbought, right? That's not a bad thing, but it could be if you do it for too long, okay? So keep that in your mind here. Taking a look here, of course, let's go ahead and go to TD sequential. This is one thing I wanted to show you. And one of my patrons kind of brought this to my attention. I like to look at it regardless once we get closer to that time frame, but it's really helpful. So if you look here, of course, you see the 8 on TD sequential. Basically just tells us we have potential of one more day worth of bullish momentum, and then we should expect consolidation and or retracement. And what TD sequential does, it takes the 4th previous candlestick and counts up from there until it hits a 9. And once you hit a 9, that's a state of exhaustion, kind of stating that, hey, we've had 9 days of bullish momentum, and it's time to see a turnaround, right? And here's a good example of what that could look like. In other words, you see here, started with a 1 all the way up to a 9. Once we hit this 9, the price went down, up, up, down, 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 and then we just took off again, right? This is that period of consolidation we might experience here in the near future based on the sheer fact that we're getting close to that max point. Now, if you see back here, it went 1 to an 8, and then it ramped up for number 9 was a big boy. We could see that happen, not to say that number 9 is always like a big candlestick, but generally speaking, a lot of times coins will hit a 9 and do this last big push. So we could see that here today. We'll look at some other indicators, see if that's a possibility. But generally speaking, we should expect the price to not go much further unless it breaks that resistance plane, which is roughly at about, what, 58, 59 cents. Okay, so just something to kind of understand, forefront of your mind. We should and could experience some type of retracement. It may not be significant. It could just be very subtle. But this last one wasn't terrible. It just kind of came up and down and wavered for a little while, and then eventually took off again. So just bear that in mind. That could very well be the case. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other normal stuff and work our way down. 4-hour chart, 50-day simple moving average, working as a very strong support level. This is awesome. We love to see it. So, excuse me, hypothetically, the price continues, to go sideways, and then we have a breakout to the upside, whereas that moving average just pushes the price further higher, right? Pushes it right through that resistance level. As we can see, this resistance has been tested twice, right at about 59 cents. Now, it's normal for resistance to be tested multiple times before it's broken, especially when it's an all-time high. So we'll see what happens there soon. But all in all, looking very good here on the 4-hour chart, even still. Let's take a quick peek at this as well. We do have a nice reset. So as you can see, we're making the higher highs and higher lows. Actually, correction, higher lows. Higher highs are receding because, again, we're pushed up against a resistance level. Excuse me, pardon me. So for lack of better terms here, we're looking very good. No higher highs, that's okay, but we got the higher lows, that's important. Now, moving on, we see 50 and 70 on the RSI. It's right smack dab in the middle. That's perfect. We like to see that. We have potential bearish divergence here, but I don't think we're going to expect the price just to plummet because of that. But that does imply that the fact that, in this time frame right now for the next maybe 12 hours, we might see a recession and or the price continue downwards based on the sheer fact that the bears have lost or have gained control and the bulls have lost control. So looking at the 1-hour chart, let's kind of see what's going on here. So we did reach a state of exhaustion. You can kind of see here, 1 through a 9, then we had this extra 5 or 6 hours overtime, and then the price goes sideways and comes back down. So again, TD sequential isn't 100%. I've seen coins go on for days, even past that state of exhaustion. So just keep that in mind. KuCoin could continue to pump. Right now, it is effectively consolidating when you think about it. But what it does is it's keeping consolidating closer to resistance. So you got the line coming up here, and it could get even closer and closer until it breaks out to the upside. That's a pretty common characteristic in situations like this. So just bear in mind that, KuCoin does still have potential to take off. It's exuding all good positive signs right now. And this sell-off we're seeing right now in the last 4 hours is very standard, very normal, very healthy. Okay, even previously, if you look at the last, that was about 2 days ago, we hit an 8 on TD sequential on the 4-hour, and it came back down, and it started all the way back over, and effectively hit the second Fibonacci retracement line. So what's cool about this, you can kind of see how strong these Fibonacci retracement lines are holding. They're doing really well as support and resistance channels. So I really like what I'm seeing here. There's literally no bearish behavior that I can see from KuCoin right now that is concerning. But just bear in mind, if it does decrease in price 10, 15, 20% in the near future, that's completely normal. It doesn't mean it's going to just tank and go down. And it also doesn't mean you necessarily have to sell your position either. Dollar cost averaging is probably one of the best, most effective ways you can approach this as the price goes down. If you have, of course, the opportunity, continue to add to your position as it gets closer to the next Fibonacci retracement level. So for example, 53 cents would be the next case in point where you might want to consider adding to your average. If it comes down to 49 cents or 48 cents, then that would be another good buying opportunity. I don't foresee the price coming down that much lower though, personally. I think it's going to stay where it's at and just continue sideways. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up here. Sorry, I'm getting a little chatty here today. So let's take a quick look. We already looked at that. We're above. Are we above the cloud? We are above the cloud, but just keep in mind this conversion line is coming down to the baseline. So that does imply that we should probably consider trimming our position because obviously we got this guy coming in here. And once that touches a price action, that's usually considered to be a sell signal. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to sell, but that's just a general, that's how Ishimoku Cloud works. It's a very safe indicator. It helps us understand, hey, we're above the cloud still, all good. As soon as we break above the cloud or below the cloud, it might be a consideration to sell. And of course, once this conversion line intersects with this, kind of like a bearish divergence on the MACD, then that's also a signal to potentially sign an exit position. And very last, this guy right here, which is referred to as the lagging span, that is effectively the indicator. As soon as it intersects with the price action, then it's considered to be a sell signal. All right, so this is coming up. This is giving us sell signals right now. It's basically just telling us we're losing momentum. Again, don't sell your entire position because of this. It's just a consideration of the fact that, yes, we're losing that bullish momentum and that we may see the price come back down here in the near future. But again, I don't see, that still doesn't concern me at all. I don't think that we need to worry. In fact, here's one cool thing too. The Ishimoku Cloud does commonly work as a support level. So the price does come down, just say, it could, in fact, move forward and push the price up further because you can see that it did that previously as well. And even Furthermore here, we got the support level here as well. That should work as a nice little bounce. So when you have the cloud and the support levels working concurrently, it reaffirms that support. Okay, so again, I don't care if this looks bullish, don't care if this looks bearish. This right here is a strong, strong support level being reaffirmed by the cloud. Heaven forbid we lose that. We have this secondary support here as well that's proven to be very effective. And then if we lose that, of course, we'll have to reevaluate things, kind of go from there. But there's really no indication of a bearish divergence, so to speak, that I'm seeing that's significant, even though we are kind of higher on the charts, right? So I guess to summarize here, to make it really simple, there's mostly bullish indications here that the price will continue higher. So what we want to do is we want to pay attention and look for this ascending wedge pattern to break out to the upside, because I do think it's just a matter of time before it does. However, we are reaching a state of exhaustion in the big picture for the one-day candlesticks, right? So we do have that slight little, I don't want to use the word cloud because that's not really the right term, but we got that little potential there that does imply that we could see a reversal. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come down, but we should expect, if nothing else, for the price to go sideways for a little while. If the price can go sideways and consolidate in this little channel that it's in right now, and then eventually break to the upside, and then obviously once the price breaks to the upside, comes back down and consolidates at the previous resistance level, the new support at 58, 59 cents, that is perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. So again, it's a little early to tell. We're going to have to take a look at this here again soon, kind of identify what's going on. I know that's not super, super helpful in that sense, but sometimes coins do this where they're just kind of taking it easy before they take off, or it just needs to kind of correct itself. I would normally say that it should come down, but I do think that Crow has enough momentum to continue regardless of those facts. So it's kind of an interesting scenario here, but I want to see what happens to the support level here at about 53 cents here soon. See if we get a bounce. If we do, then that's going to be a great, great sign, because the likelihood of it coming back up, because if you see here, this is turning into a cup and handle pattern. If we can get that handle to form, we'll get a breakout and we'll see that price break above that resistance level. So that's my hope. We'll see what happens soon. I'm excited to find out what happens next. Thanks again for joining me here. We'll look forward to seeing the next video. Sorry, it's a little bit long here today. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Be sure to join my Patreon community if you haven't already. Thanks again to all my patrons for making this such an amazing experience. Love and appreciate you very much. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.